Hey everyone, Boardgame Brody here with Meeple Mountain. I have 10 games that I previewed for Kickstarters that I'm super excited for that will hopefully be coming out in 2023. And let's not keep you waiting for what you really want and what you came for. So we will start with the number one Kickstarter. And when I say Kickstarter, I mean crowdfunded game that I previewed that is coming out in 2023. And so the number one game is Darwin's Journey. So the game has so many great things to go along with it, and I actually anticipate that it will become my all-time favorite game. So let's get it up in the top 10 games on BGG because it really deserves to be up there. And sorry if you didn't back this game, you really missed out, but don't worry, somehow you still can probably get a copy, I'm sure. So why is Darwin's Journey so good? Well, the game has mechanics that work well together. You feel like the game with the theme was just kind of meant to be. This is a worker placement game, but each worker can only go to certain worker placement spots that match the seals that are associated with that worker. And during the game, you will work to make your workers better, both so that they can visit more than just one type of space, but also so that you can fulfill your character cards to gain bigger bonuses. As your workers become stronger, they can also take stronger actions that will slowly open up the game as the game goes on. Each worker placement spot focuses on one main aspect of the game, and you have a spot where you can gain seals to place on your workers so that they can visit more spots on the board, and also, again, you can fulfill those character cards. And this is the section where you add envelopes to gain bonuses. The player with majority on each section will gain the listed bonus at the end of each round, but also when you finish a stack of envelopes on your board, you also gain bonuses. Then you have the movement of your boat. There are end of round scoring that you can only score points if you are further down from the sea than the set location for that round. And then there's moving on the land with your meeples, exploring the terrain. And there are 3 islands to explore, but you only get to explore the later ones when your boat passes a certain mark. So when exploring, you will take notes on specific things that you find that you will then gain money for by taking that information and bringing it to the museum. And you will lay down tents also to unlock bonuses as you explore the islands, and you will also get bonuses from your player board. And then there are random bonuses throughout as well. To gain points in the game, you'll be trying to manage your time, and to move on the theory of evolution track, you need to fill up the museum the best you can because that will give you more points that way. Then you will be needed to fulfill scoring between rounds. And lastly, you will have personal objectives that you'll gain throughout the game, and you'll be placing those on your board and gaining bonuses for those as well when completing them. Yeah, there is a lot in this game, I know. The plans were to have some pretty awesome components for the game as well, so I'm excited for that, and I just can't wait to see the final production copy and what it looks like. And it should be ready pretty soon, I'm pretty sure. But for all those reasons, Darwin's Journey by Thundergriff Games is my number one game that I previewed in 2022 that is coming out in 2023. And maybe I actually previewed that one back in 2021, I'm not sure. But it's highly anticipated for me. All right, on to number 2, which happens to be a less complex, but still a really good game. It's Maple Valley by Kids Love Board Gaming. This game is different from Creature Comforts that you might see back here, so don't get confused. It all solves the biggest problem or the issue that everyone had with Creature Comforts, which is the game length and how long it takes to play it. Maple Valley still uses cute animal theme in it. It's still about gaining resources, just in a very different way of doing that, and then also gaining the comfort cards as well. But you will also be making friends, which will let you do more actions and let you move around the board more easily. The game is about using your friend cards the best way possible to get the stuff that you can get to exchange for crafts or to get more friends, or to store certain things on certain cards that you have crafted already. Most locations on the board let you pick up different types of resources, while others let you do like trading or other actions that will hopefully help you if you plan accordingly. The top of the board lets you bounce back to the bottom of the board, and then going from the bottom to the top can take as less as 2 turns, but as much as like 3 to 4, depending on what cards you have. We really enjoy Creature Comforts, but we feel like Maple Valley is even better and will solve the biggest problems with Creature Comforts for what most people have decided is the biggest problem with that game, which is the time. So again, Maple Valley by Kids Love Board Gaming is my number 2 Kickstarter game that I previewed in 2022. On to number 3, Nightmare Cathedral by Board & Dice. This game is not what I expected from Board & Dice, and probably not for the reasons that you might think. I mean, I really like Board & Dice games, as you can see a lot of them behind me, but this theme just surprised me for them. So this theme is also not my normal liking, but this art is just wow. I mean, now look through the art, and it might feel it is a little dark. The game doesn't feel all too dark itself. This is an area majority game, but has some very cool things like a nightmare that comes out for your people on the board. Although it gives you less of a presence on the board, it still gives you points, so don't worry. Each nightmare is different. It does different things to your pieces on the board, so it can become a very strategic game. And you want to build buildings out on the board. You want to move up on the ritual track, which can be done in many different ways, but mainly by using your followers to be taken off the board to do so. Almost everything you can do is good, but players will need to find the best moves to win in this game. Players will use action cards to take actions, and players can upgrade their cards to make even better actions. The game gives me a similar feel as Cthulhu War does. It does to some degree, except the game still feels like you progress and get points, and when bad things happen to you, then you're still moving in this game. I mean, really, it's just a great design, but that's why it's number 3 on my list again, Nightmare Cathedral by Board & Dice. All right, on to my number 4 game, which is Life of the Amazonia by Bad Comment. Maybe I'm a sucker for those animal meeples or something, but this game is a great game where you place down tiles to expand the rainforest, and then you place down animals or trees or just stuff on those tiles to score points. And each different animal will score differently depending on where they're at or what they're next to, and everything you can do scores points differently. So it's a planning game, but also it is a fun little bag builder aspect to it as you gain tokens to do better and better actions, and you can only do from what you grab out of your bag. So you get stronger tokens, and you can thin out your bag, getting rid of those starting tokens, or maybe you keep those in and you just keep on getting good ones. You know, it's a typical bag builder game. You also move up on the tracks to do more in the game in fun different ways. You can see your jungle just grow and expand. And like my wife says, she likes a game where she can just focus down on her design, on her vision, without someone else coming and destroying and messing things up. Anyways, I have Life of Amazonia by Bad Comment on my list at number 4. All right, number 5 is Bloodstones by Wallace Designs, and this, of course, is a Martin Wallace design or game. I have only played it online, but it was so enjoyable that it left lasting impressions on me, and I still think about the game even now. So, from all this time. Now, I'm usually not a huge war game player of any type, but I feel like this one is kind of a little more Euro-y. It's largely an area majority game, and players play as asymmetric races that fight for territory. Each player's units all are different from each other, so it's nice to find how different races can focus on a different way, and you should probably focus on that important thing of that race when playing the game. The game is very tactical. Beginning locations are done like Power Grid, so you can have a huge blessing, put it in a good spot, or a big mistake if you don't. The units used in the game are tiles, and you will be pulling them out of a bag each turn, and you will need to spend units to place down other units. So you have to choose what you want now while spending the others to pay for those other units. Anyways, I'm really excited about this game, and I just hope I can find some interested players to play it with me because it's not my normal game type, but if you have any interest in something like this, you should definitely check it out. Again, this is Bloodstones by Wallace Designs. All right, on to number 6. All right, this is Ryozen by Tabula Games, and this was also a game I played online, but I think I would like it better on the table. I'm very much anticipating like it even more. This is a worker placement game, but players can place their workers unveiled or cloaked on certain spaces, and you'll be taking actions when placing your workers, but also you're competing to have the most influence in each of those sections on the board to gain its reward. Cloak workers don't get actions, but they count as 2 influence. So you can manipulate event cards, you can change your position on the tiebreaker track, you can build on the village to move your marker further. You can take those actions listed on the villages. You can gain revelation cards and gain abilities. And lastly, you can replace workers with new different abilities with new workers. It seems like a clever game of using your workers in ways to outsmart other players. It takes only an hour to play and has cool 3D spinning board there. Again, Ryozin by Tabula Games. I really want to get it to the table. Okay, on to number 7, which is Vendel to Viking by Ion Game Designs. And this is also kind of a tactical game. It's more of a Euro game than a war game. But you will be placing out different types of followers to take actions in the game. Your goal is to gain achievements by doing different things on the board. You want majorities on the map. And also you need to gain family members to add to your family tree, which is your player board. You'll be trying to place out tiles on locations on the map and taking advantage of your actions. And when necessary, your units are placed on the achievement boards to gain achievements worth points. So it's a neat little tactical game with a lot of options, and the way that the game can be different each time is just amazing. If you're a fan of any of the PAX games, then this is a different way that they use similar ideas and make for a fun game. Again, Vendel to Viking by Ion Game Design. All right, number 8 is Dark Quarter by Lucky Duck Games. So this is an app-driven storytelling game. I like how it's a different way to do this exploration, murder mystery type game. You know, players are working cooperatively together to take all the clues that they find and to put it together to solve the mystery and continue the story. Your characters are woven into this game with everything that is happening. And I feel like, you know, Lucky Duck Game has a couple of these type of games with the apps, and Divinus is one of the others that should be coming out in 2023. It did not make this list because I didn't do a preview video for it, but in reality, I might even be more excited about that game than this one, but still, all this practice that they have been doing with all this app stuff, they should be getting better and better, and I've enjoyed each one of these so far, but number 8 is Dark Quarter by Lucky Duck Games. All right, number 9 is Raw, which is coming out by 25th Century Games, which is a new edition of the game. The game got another facelift, but I think the small changes that I've seen, I like. This is just a game that, although published more than 20 years ago, it still is relevant on how you use tiles to bid, and it's just so simple and smooth, and it works amazingly well. But this is a set collection game, which gives you points for different tiles that you collect in the game. As more tiles come out, they are added to a group, and they get bigger and better maybe, but also worse as other tiles are negative tiles, and they are tiles you don't really want. But you might want to take a group of tiles when you know you really want something in there before it becomes either worse or possibly other players become more interested in it. It's a fast-moving, quick game played under an hour. It's one of the best bidding games out there, period. Again, Raw by 25th Century Games. And my number 10 game that I previewed in 2022 that will be coming out in 2023 is Donut Shop, also by 25th Century Games. This is a fun tile placement game of making patterns of similar donuts. The bigger the size of pattern of your type that you make, the more money that you cash in. But then you also gain additional money when you get order cards that are all in a specific area, and you will place different sized boxes on an area to gain even more money. The art in the game is awesome. I love the box art. The game is fun, and the donuts are just really delicious, and that's why it's number 10 on my list. Now, my surprise number 11 game, yes, that's right, is Copan Dying City by Holy Grail Games. And this is an interesting Euro game where resources dwindle down as the game goes on, which represents the crumbling city. Players will be focusing on like 5 different mini games, and to get the most points total, you need to focus or not focus on some and kind of do your best. You lay down tiles that will also give you certain resources, and then you will have those resources to perform your actions with. And at the end of the game, your scoring is affected by how high and on which side of the temple track that you have moved up on. Anyways, it's my surprise number 10 game to make this list, which is Copan Dying City by Holy Grail Games. And that is my list. But like usual, don't forget my honorable mention. Oak by Game Brewer. Most of everyone probably actually got their copy of this game already who backed it, but I just received mine here shortly, so I'll be checking it out again, but excited for it. Pampero by Ape Games is a fun, heavier Euro game about finding ways to increase wind energy. And lastly, Leaf by Weird City Games has a fun little tile placement leaf game with some magical geometry that they used in their design, but can't wait to see how the final copy of that game ends up. So if you haven't watched my preview videos of any of these games or ones that you might be interested in, then please check those out. The links are below. Many of these games are still available for late pledges, or they might be coming out soon, and you can get your own copy whenever you or wherever you buy your games at. So hope you enjoyed my list and can't wait to get more of my copies of these games and play them on the table. Again, this is Board Game Brody, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Stick around and check out some other board game reviews to see what you might want to get to the table.